Hey everybody, John Malanca here with my fabulous and healthy co-host, Natasha Trenev, the mother of probiotics. Hi, Natasha.
Hello, everyone. And I'm getting into November. I'm going to be celebrating my 77 years on planet Earth.
And I'll be there. Um, well, this is a topic, and we have a lot to cover today. And so this is a topic that comes up quite a bit. It's personally affected me, and I'm thinking probably affected Natasha, has helped other people. But unseen threats, heavy metals, and health risks in supplements and spices. And so you automatically think that because it's sold in a high-end store, of health food store, that whatever you're getting is safe to consume. And so you want to go back? I'll tell you two little things. So this is about 8, 9 years ago, and my doctors are naturopaths, and I get my blood panels taken every probably 2 to 3 times a year. And this one time I went in there and said, John, what are you doing? Your liver's maxed out, your cholesterol's maxed out, the list goes on. I said, I'm doing everything right. I'm working out, I'm exercising, I'm eating correctly, I'm at peace, and I'm also doing acupuncture. And my doctor said, are you taking Chinese herbs? I said, yeah. She said, oh, let me do something. So she gave me a finger prick test, come back the next day, and I was loaded with metals. And you automatically think, okay, and I grew up in Asia, so I'm thinking, okay, Eastern medicine, how wonderful is that? And so I was taking these every day. And what if I continued on without having this blood workup to show that it was affecting other parts of my bodies and most importantly, very important organs in my body. So I was able to jump off that. And I did ozone treatment once a week for 5 weeks. Some people are against that, but I did it, and it cleared out. I went back, everything back to normal, even all my markers. And so after that, I said, wow, what do I believe and how do I believe what's on the labels? And so, who better to ask than, hey, Natasha, you're my ask. Hey, Siri. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Natasha, help me here.
Well, yeah, I just haven't been the founder of the probiotics field or fermented foods. I've been in this industry for 56 years. I've started many organizations. One of them was, or helping to restart the NNFA, and sat for at least a decade on standards committees. And one of the horrifying things was that continually we found that supplements did not contain what they printed on the label. That was about 80% of them, and it was a horrible discovery. On top of that, we found that spices and heavy metals and some of the other ingredients used in supplements were loaded with heavy metals like lead, arsenic, cadmium, and those are deadly to all of your body parts. And this is the problem, that even labels with organic in recent times does not secure you that you're not getting these heavy metals, because guess what? Heavy metals are organic. They're part of the soil. The lead is part of the soil. So I think there's a lot of misunderstanding, and that's why we're still seeing not a huge improvement on the 80% of people who are chronically ill and the children who are chronically ill, because it's not only 1,000 chemicals and additives in our food in the US, it's all also our ignorance of the possibility of getting these heavy metals, not only in spices like cinnamon and turmeric. We also find them in minerals such as zinc. Zinc is a very popular mineral now. We find them in herbs. I've worked with many fine people in Chinese medicine, and I know that if you get the Chinese herbs or any herbs anywhere in Asia, and you're not doing testing and quarantining the material when it comes in, you're most likely going to be selling it with heavy metals, even if it's marked organic. And that's one of the main things, those things we're not aware of, the heavy metals and the additives in the food, and even in so-called health foods, has destroyed the composition of our microbiota in the human microbiome. And then we don't get adequate protection by taking the wrong products. There's just massive confusion, not only in the pharma medical field, but also in our health food industry, in our alternative medicine industry. In other words, complementary medicine, functional medicine, whatever you want to call it, naturopaths, people who deal in acupuncture and Ayurvedic medicine, all of it. They are trusting these supplement manufacturers. And believe it or not, they never even spend 10 minutes checking out what the sourcing is for the ingredients that they're selling to their patient. It's a huge trust. And I'm not accusing of everybody of doing it on purpose, but very few people that I know of in this industry actually quarantine raw material and never use it in their product until it's tested by an outside lab, to contain the ingredients stated on the label that delivered the product to you, and that it's free of contaminants, especially heavy metals, especially even bacterial contaminants. All foods, all substances, all materials come with their own load of background material. And so those organisms that survive in the presence of these heavy metals are nasty. And this is the kind of ignorance that we cannot afford today when we have 80% of our population chronically ill, and we have 60% of our children chronically ill, and we're literally listening to people who give us Band-Aid effects. Now, John was fortunate enough that he's very concerned about his health. He's one person that I found that does his research and knows how to deal with these issues. But I would say 99% of the people do not know how to deal with these issues, would not even recognize they have the problem, and they're spending hundreds of dollars on fecal tests, on blood tests, and if they don't know what to look for, they're clueless. The only thing that's going to come up is that your markers, like you said, for your liver health are going to be completely skewed, and it's going to cause alarm because you're going to say, well, wait a minute, I don't drink, I don't smoke. What's causing this problem with my liver? So the whole purpose of our program is not just to tell you the importance of these 100 trillion microbes that line your 27 feet of GI tract. It's the importance of knowing what you're putting in your mouth and that you're paying for your health. And the whole industry needs a dynamic cleanup, because the organization that was doing what we call True Label was actually put out of business because of the massive withdrawal of members who did not want their products tested off the shelf for these type of problems. And I'm only saying this not to throw the industry under the bus, but because I am concerned, and before I semi-retire and take my rightful place, it is my duty and obligation to tell you that we have to be aware of those things. And I know many people, such as the good doctor, Dr. Casey Means, has talked about this, but I'm sure she and other people in this movement to get us healthy again is not aware of the problems in the health food industry, or why we have to go into some kind of form of true label testing and really know what organisms we're putting in our body, because I can assure you that a lot of organisms that people are putting in their body are not the best way to restore what I call the optimal microbiome.
What can you share? I know in the CBD world, there's something called the certificate analysis, where they test for pesticides, metals, toxins, etc.
Yeah.
What can you share with the audience and how they can really pinpoint a good supplement or a good spice before they put it into their body? I know there's arsenic, as you mentioned, in a lot of these products. So
Yeah, well, I think first of all, you have to find out, even if the manufacturer tells you they're incorporating good manufacturing practices, it doesn't mean it's a pharmaceutical grade, a good manufacturing process. We actually had a certificate from the government of Australia as medicinal foods. Under that stringent regulation, you were required to quarantine every raw material and tested with an outside lab exactly for that. Does it have the ingredient stated on the label? Does it have any background noise? like mold, yeast, heavy metals. All of that is thoroughly checked. And then once it's thoroughly checked, that ingredient is then used in the production of a Natren probiotic. And this is very important. It's not just probiotics, it's whether you're buying a multiple vitamin. I know everybody's into vitamin D3 and zinc. No one is immune to it. And the problem is, many times the people who are selling the products are not the actual manufacturer. They use contract manufacturers. They assure you that they have all these certificates. And while they may be good, they're not all certifying of what I'm talking about. People are blindly accepting certification. You need to know how long the company's been in business, who's really in charge of the company, who's the formulator, and who really cares about the ingredients that are in the product, whether they be a probiotic, whether they be a spice, whether they be an herb, whether they be something that to manage and improve your health. And I've told this to other people, and price is usually an indication that the product has not been tested. If it's too cheap, if it comes, with this, multiple discounts, I would be very leery, because you can only get those raw materials where you can make any money is from Asian countries. And knowing what I know from about the Asian countries, it is a big problem. I just recently found out a lot of my friends are now wising up to the fact that even Himalayan salt, which I liked years ago, I can't buy it anymore, because there has been accusations that since Tibet is now controlled by mainland China, that the heavy metal business has gotten into this Himalayan salt. And this is what I'm saying, that you really need to know that your supplier has complete control of the raw material that is packaging, repackaging, and selling to you, the end user.
So be aware, and ask questions. I always say, ask questions. This is your life, your health, what you're putting into your body, what you're putting into your loved one's body. And don't be afraid to ask. Again, this is benefiting you. Natasha, any closing words?
Yeah, closing words. I'm going to say, as I've said for the last 56 years, that the digestive tract is the most important thing in your life. And that if you don't understand which supplements make that digestive tract healthy, and you're sold by the latest gimmick that somebody promotes. I think, John, you sent me some material this morning to check out product, especially these companies that are doing fecal samples and then telling you that they know they have a process of checking these fecal samples and then recommending some kind of a concoction to you. That is the most foolish thing I have seen in my 56 years, because first of all, fecal samples are only a cut in time of when you're getting these microbes. There's further fermentation that happens in the large intestine. And so who's ever doing these fecal tests is like the 26 blind men feeling the elephant and telling you what the elephant looks like. They're not lying to you, but they're just telling you what they're seeing from the limited amount of tests that they can do with the fecal sample. So one, I say you have to know who the probiotic manufacturer, formulator, and shipper is. What is their history? Have they had any problems in the past with contamination, with using organisms that may have caused a problem? I just want to close with this and saying that colon cleanses, parasite cleanses are as good as they are dangerous. And, when you're trying to clean stuff out, you're cleaning out the bad with the good. You have these people who sell these things have no idea how to repopulate. They're selling sometimes worthless products to help you repopulate. And if we're really going to get this nation back to health, I would encourage you to go to Natren to see what we do. We're not encouraging you to spend your money to buy from us. I'm just telling you, we have to start with products that meet some kind of level of security, and especially if you're dealing with live bacteria. This is so important. There isn't anything more important for you to know that bacteria are smart. and they don't behave because somebody has a marketing and sales plan, nor are they going to give you the result without possibly hurting you if these criteria are not followed.
Said, well said. Well, wishing you, Natasha, and Jordan much health, wishing our audience much health as well. And thank you for another great podcast with you. And
thank you. And we're going to try to make America healthy again.
Make America healthy. We'll end on that one. Thanks again.